Hey, what can I say? It's not exactly a great time to be Blizzard.
Well, somebody is going to be getting in trouble because the largest leak that I've ever seen in gaming news history has hit the streets. And it includes
Okay.
Blizzard in a funny way. Because if we go back and we start from the beginning, you remember this Microsoft Activision Blizzard merger? They ended up having a case where there was effectively an argument that if they put all their games together, like Call of Duty, World of Warcraft, Diablo, Overwatch, all these games together with Microsoft, the Xbox gaming console and rapidly growing business model would have too much of a monopoly.
Yeah, I kind of remember that, but let's be real. All of us know that that's not happening. Xbox is trash box, okay? And I don't even own a PlayStation. I'm just a person who has, somewhat of a functioning frontal lobe so I can see what's written on the wall, okay? Man, look at this. Imagine, Call of Duty is the only product that currently is doing well. Overwatch is hated and dead. Diablo is absolutely in the not even in the recession session. It's just not there. It doesn't exist. World of Warcraft is a joke. The only thing that is working is Classic, which essentially is putting stress and more frustration in the eyes of the Blizzard developers because, wait a minute, this thing that we made 10 years ago, all the innovation that we have done, it's useless. They hate it. They hate all of it. We have done not. Yeah, imagine that. Imagine that being your work environment. Probably not great. So yeah. Also, PlayStation's literally destroying Xbox, and I know some fanboys are gonna be like, "But PlayStation's making less revenue than Xbox." Yeah, that's true. That's true. But that has absolutely nothing to do. Revenue has absolutely nothing to do in these situations with how good a company is actually doing, okay? The reason Xbox is making more revenue because they want to milk you harder than PlayStation. That's the absolute reality of it. Okay? Live with that.
Model would have too much of a monopoly, therefore the merger couldn't be completed. Now, this is a merger that has triggered releases of information before, but somebody, again, made a major mistake, and Kitty is ruining my piano.
Why do you have a piano?
Long and short of it is, people were uploading documents for this court case, and somehow the public got their hands on these. Now, eagle-eyed observers might know this is not the first time there was a leak in conjunction with this FTC versus Microsoft hearing, but this one today we're going to be talking about is a totally different one. It's a second shooter from the grassy knoll, which is hilarious because it includes, among other things, the entire roadmap to 2030. So let's...
Man, when they do those 2-year roadmaps, they're already kind of cringe. Admittedly, for gaming companies, I kind of understand roadmaps to a degree because, they have things that they are planning and whatnot. But 2030, Jesus.
Let's dig in and see all of the juicy bits of information that is now available for us. One of the first slides here is kind of doubling down on the console and the Xbox. I mean, let's be honest, it's Microsoft. They're going to double down on the Xbox,
Obviously,
talking about the controller, etc. But it gets good when we start looking at the console. So here's what they say they have currently at launch. Here is what they call the Beyond. Now, you might know there's a couple new devices in there. There's going to be a new Series X that they're refreshing, is what they're calling it. And this is going to have a USB-C port.
Oh, yeah, we already know this. If you're an idiot and you want to waste money on nothing, you buy this. Yeah, we already know this.
As well as increased storage. It looks like no disk drive. And we have another similar refresh for the Series S. They're also sort of having a middle ground controller. There was the base controller, there's the Elite controller. This I think they're calling the Premium, which is going to go in the middle, featuring like haptic feedback. And then we have a nice little screen here, sort of showing us the technical breakdown in case you're curious about the new ones here. Seems like the keywords for this one are Elwood for the Series X or S, and then Brooklyn for the Series X is what they're going to be calling this. Now we get really into the meat and bones of it. The stuff that personally actually excites me, as opposed to, okay, there's new hardware coming out. We all, of course, they're going to...
I don't care about the hardware. The hardware may as well be fairy dust. I couldn't care less.
At least new hardware. They're going to want to sell new hardware. But now we get into the games leak. All right, so take a look at this. We got the ones that are already out. We got Doom Eternal, okay, you know,
Yeah, the
Deathloop here,
classic.
Fallout Shelter, Project Whirlwind, these kind of ones here. We got Starfield, Elder Scroll, Redfall, all of these. But then we get down to here. Indiana Jones game. What a name. Indiana Jones game.
This was all the delayed stuff,
planned titles are free to play on mobile, and they don't have them listed here. Oblivion Remaster. Oblivion was my first Elder Scrolls game, and I actually liked it a lot. So I would enjoy a remaster of that. We have Elder Scrolls.
You wouldn't. You probably actually would not. See, the thing with that, with Oblivion and all of those things, we played it when we were kids, okay? I played that game when I was a kid. Yeah, problematic, I know. The remaster is not going to fix anything, because how do you expect them to fix any of that? They're not. They literally will not, because it's a Bethesda game.
Scrolls Online expansion to be named, and then Starfield DLC is the next portion.
Oh boy!
We did already know Starfield DLC is coming.
Yeah. It's gonna be the most generic, stupidest DLC that you can ever find. What I forgot the DLC's name, but essentially from the name you can already gather that, well, you're gonna have to save the universe because, obviously. And that's pretty much it. It's gonna be some kind of bad things happen in the universe, champion. Save us, champion. And yeah, that's how it's gonna happen. It's gonna be bad.
If you buy the special edition, it comes with that prepaid. But we start to really get in some juicy ones here. Doom Year Zero and DLC. Hold on now, a new Doom game. So I don't know what you guys think about Doom, but the OG Doom.
A Doom game sounds pretty decent, but then again, Doom's storyline is finished. Same with Dishonored that's gonna happen.
And Doom Eternal, for me, goated games. I actually absolutely love Doom, so I will be playing the new Doom game. Now, looking up the next one on this list, Project Kestrel, I wasn't able to find any information on this, like, anywhere at all. So that's a code name, but I don't know what that's referring to. Doing some digging, the only thing I could find was this about ZeniMax Online Studios having a new game coming up 10 minutes ago. Someone called it Project Kestrel. If you go to the link here, it says effectively this company that does the MMORPG for Elder Scrolls Online is working on a new IP and referred to as Project Kestrel. Now that's
gonna be real juice.
Not 100% confirmed other than just this. But if it's the same company, then they're actually running multiple games. They're working at the same time because Elder Scrolls Online is going to have another expansion, and then Project Platinum. And Project Platinum being...
Well, everyone expects Elder Scrolls Online to have an expansion. It happens yearly.
And less information available, at least not that I could find. Now, this brings us to the really exciting stuff, which is at the bottom here. Elder Scrolls 6. So we finally get a continuation. That's right. It's not Skyrim 2.0. Although maybe it is. I don't know. But they're saying that at this time it's Elder Scrolls 6. So we don't have to buy another console to buy Skyrim for the 15th time. If I don't think I can count on my hands how many times Bethesda has resold Skyrim at this point. So I'm excited for a new Elder Scrolls game. But I still have plenty of Starfield yet to play through. And since I bought the premium edition, I guess I get the DLC anyway. So I have a lot to keep in company until Elder Scrolls 6.
Elder Scrolls 6 is coming 2028 or something like that. The fastest, by the way. Because, yeah, all the dates here are obviously completely wrong.
They also have some expansions in here for whatever Project Kestrel is going to be. There's an expansion for that. Elder Scrolls Online gets yet another expansion. They're really pumping these things out. And then
yeah, that has been happening all the time.
Doom Zero, the new game, has already got DLC planned before the game is even out, which is the way with games. Are you not going to mention Dishonored? It seems like if they can't release a game without 15 years worth of paid DLC, they're just not going to do it. And out of all of these, the one that really kind of interests me is the licensed IP game.
Yeah, no one knows what the licensed IP game is currently. But no one's... You didn't even mention Dishonored 3 here. It's right here. You can see it. Dishonored's a cool game. It's probably one of the most interesting settings that we have had in games for a long time. At least original settings, right? It's like this... I wouldn't call it steampunk. It has nothing to do with steampunk, technically. But it's like this gothic, grim industrial era with a lot of mysticism and all of that good stuff. Dishonored has a great world, but the problem with Dishonored 3 is very simple. Dishonored 2 finished up the storyline. So Dishonored 3 needs to be something completely new or previously, because the reason Dishonored exists as a franchise, the outsider, yeah, he's dead. Yeah, he's dead.
Please let that IP be Star Wars. I don't know what is going on, but you cannot find a good Star Wars game in this day and age. Yes, we had the Fallen Order games. They're decent. Sure, I'll admit to that. But like, there's not really a lot, with Star Wars being the biggest IP of like ever, I don't understand why we're just not just absolutely cranking out the Star Wars games. Another slide I found rather interesting here was the path to leadership in gaming, showing here what they believe the different platforms are. They show console as the largest of it, then PC is significantly smaller than I would have thought. And then cloud-first gaming seems to be expanding. Now, if you don't know what cloud-first gaming is, that's effectively like streaming the game to some kind of device that the device itself doesn't actually have the game on. Now, I don't actually do this. You can do this on like TVs, consoles, etc. It's not something I use. I normally just own the game and the hardware, and the game is actually on the hardware. But it seems that they believe, if you look at this graph here, that it is expanding and will continue to expand.
This is interesting. I actually agree with this. The cloud-first gaming thing is gonna blow up. Obviously, as internet speeds get better, you already don't own the game, so this is not really a difference, okay? Plus, we're gonna probably have reset, considering even cars have, seat belts as safety DLC features nowadays. Okay, that's an over-exaggeration, but you get the point, everything's a DLC. Man, in 5 years, how many, 10 bucks, let's be real, 15 to 25 bucks subscriptions you're gonna have per month? 100? 20? 10? I don't know. There's a lot of them. Americans already are eating Netflix and, all of its competitors at the same time and complaining about it. Fucking retards. You can just cancel those subscriptions, right? But yeah, everyone's trying to do this. There's some kind of car subscription. A certain aspect of a car. Oh, car seat heating. Right. That's a pay per month subscription, so your car can heat your seats. Ain't that amazing?
Span going into the future. And if I am reading this graph right, it is not until August of 2025 that they are planning to launch their next-gen upgrade for the Xbox at the moment. So if you have purchased your console and you were just worried, oh no, now I need the next one, you have literal years until they're going to be selling this again. This is the roadmap all the way to 20...
You know what's the worst part about this literal years part? People don't understand it, but this is why consoles are always behind. So they make a new console, they release it, and the next day they're already planning for the newer, better console. And these consoles aren't made like over a month. No, they're made by over multiple years. So they can't plan for the future. They can't plan to put in pieces that don't yet exist in most cases into their consoles. Which means they need to start planning the console that you're going to own in 5 years based on current technology. Essentially, that's just a giant metaphor for Bethesda's engine. But, you get the point, right?
2030. And there is a whole lot more in this. They mentioned that Xbox is considering their own handheld. So we're going to get our own mobile device from Xbox, which, speaking of handheld devices, they apparently were trying to buy Nintendo, or in the conversations to purchasing Nintendo, and I'm sure that would have been for the acquisition of handheld devices as well.
Nintendo laughed at them, reportedly. When Xbox and Microsoft said they want to buy Nintendo, they just all started laughing at them.
Mentioned wanting to get to 100 million Game Pass subscribers. This was a fat leak. And if you want to read all of it for yourself, you absolutely can. But they go into detail with a lot of slides on a lot of information. This was the biggest leak I've ever seen. But even more so
Pretty
than buying
funny.
Nintendo, when you dig into it, you can look at this. And it mentions also attempting at discussing Valve and Warner Brothers as well. So the original concept of like, oh,
Bruh. You know what's scary, right? You know what's scary? It's Microsoft. Yeah, it's one of the biggest things in the world. And you know why? Because Google literally prints money. That's right. The Google system is so well this is, by the way, a lot of people don't know this, but Google itself is essentially a giant money printer. It makes multiple bucks for every single dime that's put in there. It's not even funny how good that thing is on printing money. So obviously they're trying to acquire everything that exists, right? But remember, there's BlackRock, there's Vanguard, there's Goldman Sachs. And for some reason, those companies are allowed without any problems to just acquire everything over the world. Ain't that fun? Yeah, it is.
oh, Microsoft's kind of getting really big. I mean, if they think of this, we got Activision Blizzard, okay, let's say they acquire Nintendo, Steam, and Warner Brothers, like they're starting to add some stuff into the bank here. Now, I don't know how you guys feel about monopolies and mergers and acquisitions. I'm not a business guy. I'm a guy who plays video games and talks about it. So I don't have the educational background to come up here and be an expert on that
Don't worry, I'm like one of the few YouTubers that has a degree.
stuff. Normally, it doesn't worry me until I realize the majority of companies aren't really competing with each other. Like they're all owned by the same umbrella corporation, and it seems
Also
like they're
true.
competing with each other. And we kind of already have that with some companies.
Well, they are actually competing in each other, but one of the greatest examples of this is cars. Yeah, cars. So there's this neat little thing, for example, called Volkswagen Group. Now you may think, that's the guys who make the Volkswagen mark of car that no one loves and everyone hates. True. But you know what also they own? Lamborghini and Ferrari. I don't remember it was Lamborghini, but yeah, they own like 10 different brands that all technically compete with each other. It's great. It's an absolute shit fest.
As well out in the East that own like big chunks of a lot of the games that we play. You know, Tencent owns quite a bit of the games we play, even in the West as well. So I can understand there can be some concerns about monopolies. I'll leave it for that for the people who actually know what they're talking about to decide. But from what I saw reading this is hilarious. Nintendo, Steam, Warner Brothers, etc. It's a crazy amount of equity.
Also, the funny part is Warner Brothers was acquired by Disney. How long ago? Not even that long ago.
Positions if they actually did all that. What is interesting, though, is they said that Nintendo seemed uninterested in selling and was sitting on a big pile of cash. That does sound like Nintendo.
True.
Spencer stated in the line.
Hey, give it to the Japanese. They at least have some balls.
He's quoted that he didn't think hostile action would be a good move, and that he's going to be playing the long game, whatever that means. But this FTC trial continues to pump out good content that gets leaked to the public, so...
I mean, technically, true. Anyway, again, the wrong link, dude. This is the real link. Anyway, this was Quizzer Said. Thanks for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already, and have a nice day. Bye-bye.